Hello, fellow hunters. Greg here, Widowmaker Production. Well, it's time for an update. Just show you a few things that I've been working on, so let's dive right in. Well, this is what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. This is my above ground crypt that also is a worm bin for compost. It's all made out of foam. And there's my worms in the ground. You can't see them. But that blue hose is a cooling system that I've got in here to keep it cool during the summer and warm during the winter time. And the way this works is over here I have a reservoir that I fill with water. I can put ice in there if I want to cool it down even more. But there's a pump, little pump that circulates the water, the cold water, through the bin, and in turn acts like a refrigerator in here. And so far I've done some testing on temperatures in here. The water temperature was about 69 degrees when I put it in. The soil temperature was about 76 degrees when I put everything in, and the wall temperature was about 80 degrees, and the outside temperature was about 100. And slowly it is cooling down. It's now been in here for about an hour. My water temperature is at 70 degrees. My soil temperature is at 74 degrees. My wall temperature is at 76 degrees. And the top is about 105. So it seems to be working pretty good. And the way this works is you just take your household vegetable waste, coffee grounds, pretty much fruits and vegetables is what they like. You just throw them in here, the stuff that you're going to throw in the garbage anyways. Throw it in here. The worms eat it, turn it into poop, and then we take the poop and we put it in with our garden and stuff. And it's the best fertilizer on the planet, and it's all organic, folks. So I know that this isn't too Halloween related, it's a little bit of both, but I know there are a bunch of us that are into gardening and stuff, and I thought that, somebody might be interested in it. But it's all made out of 2-inch foam, and it's doubled up, so it's 4-inch thick walls all the way around. The bottom actually is foam also. This is suspended on a wire system, and then there's about a 1-inch gap, and then you got 2 more inches of foam, actually 3 inches of foam on the bottom to help insulate. Vents here to the back so you get air, and on the front. But seems to be working pretty good, and I wanted to build something like this. It's a little tight shutting, but that's what I want, nice and tight, keep all the cold air in. But this isn't a cheap project, guys. I bet you this thing cost me about $300, I'm guessing. There's 6 sheets of foam, and yeah, and it's all put together with just Gorilla Glue. And I've got a wood base here that the whole thing sits on. And then the way this works is I take this cover off to access the poop. You got a little clip right here, and another one here. Oh, sure, it's stuck. And then that's where all the poop is, right there. It's right now you see newspaper because I just put the newspaper in there to help hold everything in place until the worms actually will eat the newspaper and stuff. And you just scrape where you see the cords. You'll scrape with a little rake, and your poop will fall down here, and you scoop it up and put it in the garden. So, yeah, it was not an easy project. I mean, there's a lot of everything I cut on the table saw, all the foam, a lot of measuring, a lot of goofy angles to get everything to come together, because it is sloped, you know. So to figure out all those angles, what I did is I started out with a drawing. I did an actual drafting you know, drafted it out on paper to dimension, to size and everything before I cut one piece. I knew what all my cuts were going to be and was able to just cut it all out and then start gluing it together. Now for the outside of this thing, what I did is I went to Home Depot and I purchased Rust-Oleum's Restore for decks and concrete, and I basically just painted it right over the foam per their instructions for if you're going to do wood or concrete. Gave me this nice stucco like texture, kind of like limestone that's been really weathered, and then I tea stained it. So as far as the reservoir for heating during the winter time, because our temperatures get down into, you know, 0 easily here. I live in the Midwest, and so what I'm planning on doing with the reservoir is in the winter time I'm gonna put a fish heater in there, and hopefully I can keep the temperatures in the 60s to keep everything from freezing. And again, the water will just circulate through the system, and in turn keeping everything warm. I mean, that basically has an R20 insulation value all the way around it, and most houses don't have an R20 insulation value in them, at least not mine. Mine doesn't. So this will actually heat better than my damn house, and for less. It'll all run on 75 watts is the goal, to keep it under 100, because eventually you could, if you wanted to, you could invest in one 100-watt solar panel, and you could run that whole thing on a solar panel. If you were, say, in an area where you didn't have electricity or whatever. So that was my big project that I'm calling done. It is completely done. So hope you guys like it, and I'll show you what else I'm working on here. And here's the next thing I've been working on. As you can see, I've got the 2 side panels painted, 2 bottom teeth done, and the nose is started. Well, nose is pretty much done. Now I need to start working on the eyes and the cheekbones here, and that's why I got it set up so I can get those measurements and start cutting that stuff and get back to working on this thing. Slow process here. But that's one of the other things I've been working on. And we'll walk through into the backyard. Hopefully the truck won't be sitting there. This is the back side. You know, and then what I did is I just, for now, temporary, just a piece of wood through the foam, and it's into this 2x4 that's into the side of the house for the fence. And then the same thing on that end. So that's that, and then I still got this goddamn mess sitting here from the worm bin I gotta clean up. The wife's been bitching at me about. And then the other thing I'm working on with the scraps that I had left over from the worm bin, I started working on a tombstone, and this is all mitered together. that up. And then this piece. Gonna go on top like that. So I got a nice little tombstone I'm making out of it. So I'm working on some things. Right now I gotta work on this mess. Holy crap. And I think that's about it, guys. So back into the workshop. Workshop's a freaking mess too. Foam all over the floor, shit just laying everywhere. So yeah, lots to do, but I am moving forward. So until next time, stay scary.
Tango, what?